it recording? I think it is. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. And before I even start this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because why wouldn't you? Just kidding. So today's video is going to be on how I passed anatomy and physiology and how you can pass anatomy and physiology. So if you know anything about nursing, for most nursing students, anatomy and physiology is one of the hardest classes to pass. Like, it's not fun. Some people enjoy it, and those that enjoy it, I'm convinced they're serial killers. Anyway, so how to pass anatomy and physiology. So the first tip I will give you to pass anatomy and physiology is to read before lecture. So doing this, you'll go into lecture and your teacher will lecture for 2, 3, 4 hours, however long, and you're gonna know what they're talking about if you read. You don't have to read the chapter from front to back, but at least skim it over or like look over the slides or do both, just like a brief little run through, so that way when you're actually in lecture, you have an idea of what they're talking about. The second tip I can give you is to jot down notes while your professor is lecturing, especially if they emphasize certain things like remember this, or if they repeat something. Those are usually hints that they're giving you that whatever they're talking about is going to be on your test. So you want to definitely write down things that they're saying during lecture. Another tip would be, unless you can some people like to write down their slides. I know that I do. If you're going to write down your slides, either do it before lecture or after, most likely after, because you have them accessible to you and you don't want to spend time writing down things from the slides while your teacher is lecturing, because you can miss some very important things that they're talking about. So that's another tip I can give you. Make sure you're paying attention during lecture. Make sure that you are taking notes on what they're talking about. And if you're someone that likes to write down their slides, write down the slides. I like to write down the slides. My next tip I can give you is, after lecture, read over your notes, because it'll be like double installed in your brain. If you wait until that night, I mean, yeah, you'll remember, but if you read your notes right after lecture, you're gonna be like, yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that, and it's proven that it is more likely to stick to your brain. So you definitely want to go over your notes after the lecture. I know that when I'm taking the train, my school's in Brooklyn and I live way uptown. So when I'm doing, my hour commute while I'm on the train, I just read over my notes, and it helps things stick a lot for me. The next tip I can give you would be to be very repetitive with reading your notes and reading the slides. The more times you read things, you will notice things that you probably didn't stick the first few times, and it'll help a lot. So you'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that the left side of the heart pumps this, and whatever, like, it just helps a lot. So to definitely do that. Another tip that I can give to pass anatomy and physiology would be to use YouTube or any online resources. YouTube, Khan Academy, there's a lot of different things. Even like you can even find pictures and different displays on Instagram, Pinterest, stuff like that. It helps so much, especially if you're a visual learner. And I'll also make a video about different learning styles, and knowing your learning style, it'll definitely help you improve your grades a lot. So you definitely want to watch YouTube videos and stuff like that. It really breaks things down in a different way. If you don't understand with how your teacher is lecturing it, or you're just not getting it, maybe seeing it like a different disease process or how a different system works, like on a video, it could help you. It helps me a lot because I'm a visual learner. Another tip that I can give you to pass anatomy and physiology is to make friends with your classmates. Your classmates are going to be there with you to the end. Well, at least some of them. They're going to be there with you to the end, so you don't have to be best friends with them, but you at least want to make some acquaintances and be cordial with some people, so that way you can help each other get through not only the class, but the whole program, because it is hard. It's not easy, okay? So definitely study groups work. It helps a lot. I know a lot of times I've done study groups and then I'll do like a little study session before test, and my classmates will inform me on something that I didn't know or I thought I knew but I didn't, and I answer those questions on the test and I got them right. Thanks to my classmates, because if we didn't go over it together, then I would have got less points and I would have got those questions wrong. And I know I've also done the same thing for them, so that helps a lot. Definitely want to make friends with your classmates. If you don't know something or something does not make sense, ask your professor. Ask them at the right time, because some can get irritated. I know mine can. But that's their job. That's what they get paid to do. They're there to help you. But at the same time, they can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. So make sure you're focused, determined. It's not easy, but just make sure you're really, really trying your best to learn these different systems of the body, these different disease processes, and everything else. It'll make life and A&P much easier for you. The last tip that I can give you, well, there's a lot of tips, but this is like the main things that I feel like will help get people through the class. The last and best tip I can give you is to do practice questions. If you do practice questions, there's only so many practice questions that can be asked on a specific topic. So if you do a lot of practice questions, you will probably see some of them on the test and you'll get them right. You'll get them right. After you read the chapter, after you read over your notes, do the practice questions in the back of the chapter, answer them. Go check yourself, pick the answer you think is right. Go back in the chapter and check and see if you got it right. If you didn't, that's okay. Fix it. Fix the answer. Make sure you read over that again. And go to the back of the book. There's an answer sheet that you can always check your answers as well. You can go online. You can literally Google practice tests for the bones, a practice test on the bones, and it'll teach you different parts of the bone, blah 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 blah. Different practice tests for the muscular system. Like, you can just look them up on Google and they'll pop up. There's apps you can download on your phone to do practice questions. You can go in your textbook and make practice questions yourself. You can look in the material and find something that doesn't quite make sense to you, and you can read that paragraph or whatever and make your own question in your notes. Make your own question and then write the right answer. Something that doesn't really stick or something you won't remember, and read over it a lot. Being repetitive is key to passing anatomy and physiology. So these are all the things that I did to help me pass anatomy and physiology. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a science student. I didn't pass with like an A or nothing. I didn't, but I passed. And I didn't have to retake it. And there's a lot of students that have to retake it. And I'm just happy that I didn't have to. So those are some of the best tips that I can give to you. If you have any more questions, please comment below and ask. I'll be more than happy to answer. And please, again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.